Hi, this is Steve Rybrook from LedgeView Partners, and this video is about the goal scorecards in our CRM for oil and gas, which is powered by Microsoft Dynamics 365. So it's really all about tracking and managing your goals versus your actuals. We're able to do that because of two things. Number one, your actual data is available to CRM because we have an integration with your accounting system. So we're able to bring over your customers and all of your invoice data to keep track of all the actuals, what really happened from a gross profit and volume perspective. The other side of that equation is setting goals. So that's your part of the deal. Every year, typically, you would set goals. And what we do is we've got it set up where you set up goals very granularly. So really down to the salesperson, department, product category, and product segment level. So you set very detailed type goals, and then we can roll them up. So if you added up all those goals, that just becomes your company goal. If you added up all the goals that were set for a certain department, that would match that, that would make that department's goal. So you don't actually specifically set a number for your company or a department or a product segment. You set the goals very granularly, and then the system will roll them up. And the beauty is you just do that on a spreadsheet. So you enter all these numbers. That's probably the most work, right? Setting and agreeing on your goals. And then you just take that spreadsheet and you save it as a CSV file. And then our system just has this little wizard where you go through and you find your CSV file and you say, I want to load that for this fiscal year. You hit the next button and it verifies all the data. And if it's good, all those goals on that spreadsheet that you started with end up in CRM. So one last thing to touch on before we actually jump into the system, and I show you some of the ways you see all your hard work with setting goals and integrating with your back office. Just a little background on LedgeView Partners. We are a business and technology consulting company, and we work with organizations to transform their sales, marketing, and customer service operations and processes. And that's really supported by our core technologies, which include CRM, which I'm showing you today, and marketing automation. Specifically today, we're working on a CRM product we built for the oil and gas industry. So with all of that being said, let's flip over to CRM and take a look at some dashboards. So I'm just going to go into our dashboard area, and I'm going to start out from a very high level from a company perspective. So just a couple of things to point out before I start getting into this is you can analyze your goals versus actual based on gross profit or volume. Everything I'm about to show you works the same. It just uses different numbers. So gross profit versus volume. So what am I looking at here? I'm looking at a chart. This blue bar is your actual. So how much gross profit have I accumulated so far this year? And these four circles represent your quarterly goals. So if we're, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 months into the year, we've already reached our company goal. So wow, good news, right? And as I hover over it, you'll see we show you what the numbers are, because sometimes, the graphs are great and everything, but it's nice to see the specific numbers. So we show you each quarterly goal and then how you're doing actually. So if I click on this, we allow the system then to drill down by what we call department. And the department is very configurable. We make the system look and feel like your business units or what we call departments. So it looks like I've got some test departments in here, but my biggest departments obviously are my fuel and my lubricants. So from a company perspective, things were looking pretty good. But what I'm finding out is, hey, our fuel department is just crushing it and lubricants isn't doing so hot. So I can just hover over the blue bar again, and it shows me those numbers. And my goal was about 1.2 million, and I'm only at about 119,000. So I could click on this, and then it breaks it down by what we call product category. And a lot of our customers set up their product categories as their brands, so they can see how each of their brands is doing. In this case, within the lubricants department. And then I could click on that, and then we break that down by what we call product segment. Really, how do you group your products? And in this case, I've got things like antifreeze, automotive, grease, heavy duty, industrial. Again, this is set up to match your system. And then I can drill one step further to get one last chart, and that's actually going to show me each of my salespeople where I have actuals and or goals for lubricants, Chevron grease. And I could go one more click here, and I really don't have much of a chart to show you, but what really we're showing here is all of, in this case, Steve's customers that help contribute to his lubricant, Chevron grease gross profit. And it's showing me Steve's best customer down to his worst customer for contributing to gross profit. So that's how that works. This is overall business. Again, we could look at that for gross profit or volume. The blue bar is just going to continue to grow as the year progresses, and your goals, obviously, you just set once. A couple other things I want to point out that you can do optionally when you set goals. We have a lot of customers who care about tracking how are we doing on growing our current business, meaning if we have customers out there, let's say, who are buying grease, and I've got a salesperson who's trying to get that customer to buy maybe our coolant or our industrial oil. If they actually get them to do that, we consider that new business for existing accounts, and we just call that growing your share of wallet business. So the blue bar is just tracking the actuals, and if you set goals for that, the goals would appear here. And again, it's the same drill down, so I'm not going to do that again. But so we're always going to capture this share of wallet actual, whether you set goals or not. You always get the blue bar. It's just a matter of if you want to set goals against it. And I think you know the old saying, right? What gets measured gets done. So this goal setting is kind of a really popular feature. And then the last area where it looks like I set goals and our company's doing terrible is you can also set a goal for just overall new business. So not share of wallet. This is opening brand new customers. And it looks like we didn't open any new customers. So no actuals, but we've got a goal here and we've got some work to do, especially if it's getting toward the end of the year. While we're focusing on our existing customers, we got to try to get some new customers. Okay, so that's kind of looking things at a kind of a corporate level. I just want to show you from a sales manager perspective, you might want to look at this data differently. So think of the same charts that I showed you earlier with the same data, except we spin it a little bit differently. This is really by salesperson. So just because we set goals very granularly, we're able to now spin this up and in total for a salesperson. So in this case, how is Steve doing, goal versus actual? How is Sean doing? How is Michael doing? And as a sales manager, if I was going to do a coaching session with somebody, I have the option here to select if I only want one salesperson to show up on here, so people don't, if you're going to use my laptop, they don't see everybody else's numbers. I can also drill down gross profit versus volume. And I didn't mention this on the last chart, but we always let you look at this year, or if you want to look at last year. So last year would be a complete year. This current year is, so far this year, it just grows until the end of the year. So the same drill down, right? So I could drill into Steve. How's he doing by department? How's he doing by product category? So this is Steve. Drilling down to how's Steve doing for all of his product segments. And again, I have one more drill and I would get that chart of Steve's accounts that make up whatever bar I click on. All right. One other thing I want to show you is, so this is great for managers. A salesperson would really have access to this dashboard 8, this My Goals scorecard. So that's just going to show me my stuff. So I don't have access to anybody else's stuff. So if you set goals, you're coaching your team, you've got this goal set, right? I would think each of your sales folks, probably a couple times a month, if not more often, they're going to be checking to see how they're doing. Right? So they know what you know. It's very transparent, and it seems to work out very well. All right, so those are the charts that are involved. There are some reports that are involved. I'm not going to go into all of them, but I'll just grab one real quick. So in our report section, there are reports where you can analyze things. So I'm just going to grab this goals versus actual report. And the reason we have this really is to give you a little bit of flexibility so that the charts I was showing you, they just keep growing throughout the year. Well, if you just wanted to analyze maybe the first 6 months, so I could just say, show me, I have no idea what I have in here for data here. Let's go for the first 6 months of 2018, and I can look at all business, my share of wallet, or my new business. I'll just say all. I could pick one or more departments. I'll say, oh, you know what? I'm not going to say all. I'm going to get rid of these ones that really don't have much data. And then I can pick any product segment, or I could just select all product segments. And I just say view report. Now it's going to take that same data, but instead of making charts and let you drill into it, you've kind of picked what you wanted. So it's just a nice report that lists each salesperson, and based on your criteria up here that you picked and the time frame, how are we doing on our goal, actual, and what's the variance amount, and what's the variance percentage? And you can see I've got some crazy test data in here. So again, gross profit, volume, and you're all set. So that's it for our goal versus actual module. Seems very popular, used by a lot of our customers. Just kind of flip over to the PowerPoint and wrap this thing up. So I just want to introduce you to Jean. Jean is our CRM account manager for our oil and gas CRM, and here's her phone number and email address. So if you have questions on our goal versus actual, if you have any questions about LedgeView or our whole oil and gas CRM product, you want to take a deeper dive, I'm sure Jean would love to talk to you. So that's it. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day.